Good morning. Welcome to the new year. Welcome to the Unitarian Meeting House. This is actually the 40th year of this congregation, which is a big anniversary for us. And I thought I would start by just taking a moment to see if there's anyone in this room who has been involved since the beginning. And if you would mind raising your hand and just letting us acknowledge you, because it's huge. So thank you, Myrna. I'm Anastasia Gochnour. I'm the worship associate this morning. For people who don't come here regularly, we are very lucky to have an amazing minister, Reverend Kimberly Johnson, who will be participating in the service as a speaker this morning. And also, we have a very vibrant committee of people who do the other facilitation of the services each week. So that's where I come in today. But I wanted to say that I obviously do not do any of this alone. And as I was thinking about this particular service and how fortunate we are to be together at this very beginning of the year, to be welcoming not only Kimberly, but another amazing community leader in Minerva Perez, and to be together in community at this time when I think community is so incredibly essential. So I am so glad to be here with all of you. And I just wanted to take a moment to express a little gratitude for people today who helped to put together this service. So first, Minerva and Kimberly, both dear friends of mine and also friends with each other. And so I'm so excited that we get to benefit from their wisdom and guidance this morning. Our musicians this morning, Stephen and Sofia Skoldberg, and my friend Adelaide Mestre. I should also say that whenever I'm in this role, I quickly reach to everybody I can think of who are my friends and ask them to help me. So included in that are my mom made the Buckeyes that are these Ohio candies that you will enjoy after the service. That's my mom. There's so many people who play a role here, and our tech host today is Kent Martin and Donna Sutton, and we have a pretty vibrant Zoom community that joins us every Sunday also. So we'll hear from one of them, our board president, Sue Penny. She's going to give a board report kind of early in the order of service today. It's a little different than I had originally expected, but we'll get to hear from her. And I just wanted to give a particular thank you to Carl and Pam Wittenberg, who are longtime members, very active, and who met me here yesterday to take down all the holiday decorations, which was hugely helpful. So big thanks to them. And finally, my housemate, Patty. I live in community, and she brought the sand that was essential for our joys and concerns this morning. So anyway, it takes a community. I'm so glad to be part of one with all of you. With all of that said, I would like to invite my friend Adelaide to light our chalice this morning, which is the way that we just create intentional and sacred space for our time together. And as she does, I'm going to read these words from Mary Oliver. What I want to say is that the past is the past, and the present is what your life is, and you are capable of choosing what that will be, darling citizen. We will take a moment now for just a couple announcements. John Andrews is going to begin, and then Sue Penny hopefully will be able to tune in by Zoom.
I just want to remind everyone that at noon today, we're going to have the second iteration of our role-playing game, Righteous Minds. And for those of you who aren't familiar with that, it's a role-playing game where we are assigned the role of either a conservative, a liberal, or a libertarian, according to the book by Jonathan Haidt by that name. And you use certain moral foundations that are appropriate for each of those outlooks, and you get a little hat and you are assigned to be a liberal, a conservative, or a libertarian at random. And it's especially fun if you're assigned a role that you aren't one in real life. So the first iteration was a lot of fun, and so you're invited to attend this one, whether or not you know anything about it.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning to our guest, Minerva, from rainy California. Please remember while I'm here for the next few months, I'm just a phone call, an email away, and I'd love to hear your concerns, questions, and ideas while I'm here. Feel free to join us by Zoom for our next board meeting, which is a week from Monday at 6:30 on Zoom. There are three big things that we want to tackle in the meeting, at least begin to. The first one is in lieu of the lithium battery blow-up scare, we will be prioritizing safe congregations policies. The second big thing is we also want to continue to explore ways to meet the needs of new families, like Pennies, Rosas, and Keys. And finally, we want to really support the work of the Dining for Dollars team, which is our first major fundraiser in years, as we need to rely less on the Paul Berman wonderful endowment. So you can offer by thinking of what you could offer for this online auction. And I want to point out Myrna Truett. Myrna was the first one to respond with this great gift of Car Talk is the name of hers. You didn't know Myrna was a car geek. She's planned a wonderful seafood dinner with a special invitation to gearheads, new drivers, and or safety enthusiasts. So she knows the number of people, the opening bid, the value, and the date. So please follow Myrna's lead. You can ask her about it. I know she's there today. And get your offerings to Jean or Bob Honig, myself, Amy Domszewski, or even Reverend Kimberly. So thank you for your time. The board is working hard, and let me turn it back to Anastasia.
Thank you, Sue. We missed you. Can't wait for you to be all the way back.
Thank you.
And this is the time where we have a chance to say good morning to each other. So please take a minute to say hello to your neighbor, and we'll just take a couple minutes here, and then we'll enjoy our one and only hymn. Thank you.
we would be one.
This is the time in the service when we pause and decide whether or not to offer our joys and concerns. We want to make space for whatever is in our heart. Thank you so much, Sofia. It is now my great honor to invite Kimberly, Reverend Kimberly, Quinn Johnson, and Minerva Perez, who I think just had to run a quick, take a quick break, but to come to the front and to begin to get situated with technology. Perfect. I will say, as I mentioned briefly, Reverend Kimberly is what I would consider the jewel in the crown of our congregation. She gives generously to our congregation and our community, but she additionally holds a number of prominent Unitarian positions on a national scale. We are so fortunate to have her in our community. And Minerva Perez likely needs no introduction. She is a longtime community advocate and leader. She was recently voted Person of the Year by the local press out here. And she and her extraordinary team at OLA, who I just admire and love so much, are at the forefront of responding to the immigration crisis that we face on the east end of Long Island. Thank you so much for being here. And I want to say, if there's time, we'll have a brief Q&A following the conversation. But if there's not time, I encourage you to stay for the coffee hour and to, hopefully there'll be time to ask some questions then as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I am grateful for your presence here, and I think you know, grateful for the work that you do in our community and for any of the opportunities that we have had to work together. I have some questions. Oh,
sure. No, I just want to thank you as well. Thank you, Anastasia, for that. This is an absolute, I needed this in this moment more than I kind of realized until I was sitting there listening to everyone and hearing this beautiful music from Sofia. So this is a real moment that is filling me up right now, and I just thank you for that.
Folks here know that I grew up Baptist, and there's a song that we sing sometimes. There is a balm in Gilead, right? There is a balm for our heart-weary, our world-weary hearts, right? And sometimes that balm is in community. But I'm going to start you with an easy question, which is, can you tell us how you came to be working at OLA? What brought you to OLA and the work that you do?
Okay, thank you. So I have some notes only because if I didn't, it would be a little too free-form, and I wanted to really stick to the questions that you gave me. So in 2006, after I moved here from Brooklyn, I was living in Hampton Bays, and I was seeking a sense of belonging, and that brought me to a place that was extremely out of my comfort zone. Justice and equity was always something that I was working with, whether it be in theater, mostly it was in theater. But when I came out here, I felt that I was not allowing myself to kind of go beyond this third party kind of connection to the things that I cared most about. I had a lot of fears. I still do. I hold some things back about being not Puerto Rican enough, not speaking the most perfect Spanish, not being from the east end of Long Island. But during that time, I was witnessing some of the most horrific and vile statements and bills that were trying to be passed from the county legislature. And at that time, it was Steve Levy, who was our county executive, who was a Democrat. And he was trying to get some of the worst things passed. And I couldn't balance out the fear that I had about not being Hispanic enough. When I grew up in Miami, I was Hispanic. Came out here, and everyone's Latino. But there are different reasons for those names. But I reached out and sought out Ola, and I sought out Isabel Sepulveda de Scanlon, who is a force to be reckoned with. And I met with her and at the Princess Diner, and she did not bring any of that kind of looking askance or any kind of level of shame or I don't know. She encouraged me beyond my wildest dreams to bring everything I could to this fight, to bring all of me to this fight. I did then in 2006, and I still am. In 2006, after Sandra Dunn, who's a member of this congregation, I believe, she was a part-time executive director for OLA, and then she stepped away to run for office, to run for a position or a seat on the council for Southampton. And when she left, I took the position of volunteer executive director, which is not a very smart position to take, with a full-time job and a single mom and just figuring out the East End of Long Island. But I loved it, and then eventually I pulled away to the retreat and ran a domestic violence shelter for 6 years, a 24-hour shelter that we do have out here in the East End. So I ran that for 6 years, which gave me more insight into advocacy. Came back to OLA in 2016, February, which was just 9 months before the unthinkable, which was the first Trump presidency.
So I'm tickled by the idea of a volunteer executive director, which is almost as funny as a part-time director. So in the time that you have been executive director, the work and the reach of OLA has just expanded exponentially. Can you talk about what is it in the mission of the organization or the commitments of the organization or the community that you can attribute this growth and this reach?
Well, the one thing I want to say first, which I think everyone in this room or anyone that knows about the work of OLA kind of knows, but I'm going to say it for folks that maybe don't, or you can share this point, is that we are not and we never will be defined by any crisis, not by Trump, not by COVID. We were never formed as a reaction to a negative, but the vision for what could be, and this is what moves our team more than anything else. And as we are building the structures that we see missing out here, and that's after great consideration and study and dialogue. So when some of these things have happened, this growth has been really organic, and always at the center of it is our mission, which is to create a healthier, safer, and more equitable East End for Latino immigrants, for all immigrants, and for all, because of course, we're all connected. And so that is our mission, and this organic growth, carefully approached, has come from these moments of crisis, but not as a simple reaction, but as sort of a deeper look at what's the core, what was missing, what's the trend, how do we look at that, how do we address that in a long form, at the same time that we're addressing the immediate needs of those folks who are being impacted by these things that are happening. And that's in 2002. I did not found OLA. I came in a few years later, but in 2002, there were reasons to have an OLA. And they had nothing to do with Trump, but everything to do with sort of the unleashing of what we see. But a lot of those systemic things have been here forever. And we're working very hard to address those. So some of these moments, I think this is a good example. I gave myself a few, but I don't have to go into all of them. But one example of a major exponential growth was our mental health work, our adolescent mental health work. So we've got a program called Youth Connect. And that came about during Trump 1, when we were experiencing a whole lot of panic. We were hearing from parents whose children as young as 6 years old were waking up every 2 hours to touch their children, their parents in the bed, and make sure they're still there, because Trump didn't take them in the middle of the night. We started something called Círculos de Fuerza, or Circles of Strength, as a way to bring Spanish-speaking mental health providers into a space with families, with children of all ages, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, get everyone around a table for a meal, then separate out kind of age appropriate and have circles with a mental health professional guiding those circles, working with children of different ages. If they were old enough to have some conversations, fine. If they were very young, we would just do fun things. And we were doing that at the Children's Museum. And just finding Spanish-speaking therapists, of course. What we had been identifying was the fact that there was these tremendous needs that didn't just come about because of Trump. I mean, life can be difficult, but the access points didn't exist. So the spaces that were supposed to have better access didn't, for all kinds of reasons that I'm not just blaming anything, but I am saying that we didn't have, and we still don't have the access points that we need for mental health support. So we got involved with understanding more about mental health and also understanding some of the really serious situations around our school systems, what social workers are able to do or not able to do in a school environment, what kind of support exists for students when it's a weekend or after 3 p.m. And we just saw all the lack. And for a while, we started advocating on behalf of whatever could be here, existing agencies for mental health. And that didn't really get us too far. Then COVID came. We got a bit more involved, did some more studies, some surveys, We were asked to speak at, I was asked to speak at the Senate hearing. Fred Thiel invited me to the New York State hearing to talk about what was most impacting our communities during COVID, and I talked about mental health. I didn't talk about mental health for Latinos. I talked about mental health for all youth and what's lacking, because the fact that we can subdivide out people, which is a thing that happens, I guess, kind of naturally, but we have to always work against it, is what is it for the full school community? We have 22 school districts out here, and none of them are prepared in the ways that our students and our families need them to be prepared. And some of that shouldn't maybe always happen in a school. I'm not putting it all in the school, but it's just an acknowledgement of what is difficult. So then we learned about a grant coming out of FEMA, by way of FEMA, kind of funneling through New York State, funneling through Suffolk County, and we said, you know what, we're gonna have to go for this grant. And it was absolutely not in our wheelhouse to do so. But we were in the middle of COVID. We were helping to feed people. We were doing things that we never thought we would do, but we knew that we could. And during that time, from 2016, February, I was the only one working for OLA. We now have 22 full-time people working for OLA with insurance and with the whole thing is sustainability for me, is how do we keep people healthy and keep them in this very difficult work. But so we went for this grant that probably someone else should have gone for, but in the mental health field. But we got it, and what it did is it allowed us to put our arms around the entire East End. This was the kind of the mission of this grant, was to be there in emotional support, because Suffolk County was a county that had experienced pretty high levels of mortality because of COVID. And so this money was released to this region to offer some sort of emotional support to people that were isolated, because this was 2020, 2021, this was that time. And so we received this grant, which is a pretty big sum, but we had to immediately go to work. So within 30 days, I hired 30 people, full-time people, speaking Portuguese, Spanish, African-American, Shinnecock, white, as many people as I could hire that could represent to our best ability the East End. Of course, we missed people. We missed segments. We missed sectors. I'm sure we did. But the idea was that we were going to have a force out there going wherever we could go, answering a phone line, a text line, going into libraries, wherever people could be together, because not everyone felt comfortable or safe to be together during that time. We did that. It was supposed to be 6 months, and we were guided and watched carefully by Suffolk County person and the Office of Mental Health, and we did it for not the 6 months, another 6 months, another 6. It was 2 years. So we did that for 2 years, and by the time that we finished doing that, we realized that this is what we can do. Well, if we can do this, and this is now ending because the money was ending, we shifted that into a true focus on adolescent mental health, but not just for Latinos, for all kids. So since 2022, we launched Youth Connect. We have a team of 6 people dedicated only to adolescent mental health. We go into middle schools, high schools, the one college that we have on the East End, Suffolk Community College, and we present on mental health and emotional health, class by class. We never do those assemblies. Those are frightening for me and for everybody else. So classroom by classroom, health class usually. That's a lot of time. We go into Riverhead High School and we're there for the entire day or maybe 2 days so that we can meet 25 kids at a time to talk about these things that are important, to get their interest, to let them see that there is another group of people that can ideally be trusted. It takes time to build trust with adolescents. It should take that time. And then we also operate a helpline 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 11 p.m., 7 days a week. And that's in Spanish and in English, and nothing like this exists. And I kind of know that because I go to Albany. We've been funded 2 years in a row. We're on the budget for New York State budget. A small amount, but enough to show the validity and the sort of the work that we do. And so that kind of work is a great example, I think, of why an expansion in that area. Well, because we were learning over the years that we couldn't just advocate for the existing structures to please help meet the needs of our youth and also our Latino youth, because the wait lists they still are not great, but they were really bad for kids, 11-year-old kids who were expressing to their parents that they did not want to live. There's not a wait list you put that kid on. So we realized that we could not be waiting to advocate for other people to do what they should be doing, or other funding to come to those people, that we just need to do it. So that was one example. And then I'll just name some of the other ones. COVID, we did more with health access. And then immigration, we, from the beginning, we saw the lack of immigration resources out here, legal immigration resources by skilled immigration lawyers. Nothing wrong with someone who's got a little bit of experience, but immigration law, at least from 2016 on, has never been something that you could touch lightly at all, you know. And so we saw that as a black hole because there are so many members of our community that have legal pathways. I'm looking at Tinka now, who has always told me to not talk so fast. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry, really. We have so many people with pathways, and some of them did not have the money and don't have the money to seek legal counsel, or the living out here. It's very isolating, very difficult to get around, not a lot of public transportation. And some have tried. They've put their savings and their family's savings into securing legal pathways, and they have been scammed by the worst humans on earth. And they've been scammed by lawyers, they've been scammed by non-lawyers. They've spent everything they have to achieve a legal status in this country because they love this country. And they love the opportunity and the safety and what they could do for their children. And they have run out of money, they're fearful, that is the position that so many of our community members are in. So it's not this, and I know that you don't think that, but it's not this idea that people, they don't care, they're gonna wait, they don't really want to be part of this kind of, God, it's such the opposite. But not having immigration legal services out here in a way that you can know is sort of truly honoring the human, which doesn't mean that you throw the crumbs of whatever you have left at the end of the day, I'll talk to you a little bit maybe. That is not what our community should be honored with. It's a full and complete legal immigration process and understanding, and a deep understanding, being able to answer a question that someone has, even if it's the same question 10 different times, until they have clarity and comfort. And that is what was never existing out here. So we sought to have the Office of New Americans in New York State bring out a position. That took 2 years of not happening. We had someone join our board, Sarah Burr, who's a tremendous person, retired immigration judge, and held in very high standing. She joined the OLA board, and she and I just had that as our single focus, she and I together, of we are going to have immigration legal services through OLA. And in 2023, we launched, we built a law firm. And it's as difficult as it sounds, with everything that you have to have in place to do that. But all of our work is pro bono. We do not charge for any of our work, ever. And it is now, we now have 2 full-time immigration lawyers. We have a full-time immigration paralegal who is a trained immigration lawyer, a working lawyer from Venezuela, who could not do his work any longer in Venezuela and moved to this country. So he is a full-time paralegal. And we just are bringing on a new law fellow, immigration law fellow from Immigrant Justice Corp. And so we're growing this immigration legal services. We have closed about 183 matters because we take each item as a matter, whether we're applying for an asylum application, a SIJ application, all these things. And we have, I think, another 150 matters open right now. And these things take a lot of time, and they're now taking 4 times the amount of time than they did in the beginning of this process because of Trump and what they're doing and how they're dismantling the immigration justice system, firing judges, hiring people without any experience, hiring other judges that align themselves with this president. So everything is expanded out and blown out to be a lot more work. So we can't gauge our numbers. We're gauging the work and the quality of the work that we do. And let me see if there's any one other thing. Advocacy, our advocacy team, we've quadrupled the number of calls that we get for help, about 300 a month now. Those calls come in through Facebook, Instagram, text message, my cell phone, our staff cell phones, walking around in King Cullen. And so our advocacy team, we have dedicated three full-time people and 1 3-day-a-week person, and myself. I am part of that team, so it's all of us. To range of issues from housing exploitation, crime victim support, access to public education, special needs access, health access, elder inclusion, medical transportation that we offer for free, and more. We are now also running a 24/7 rapid response team of volunteers, but my team is not a volunteer. They're paid, but it's 24/7. So we have a text that we answer anytime, if we're up anytime of night. If we miss it, we're going to answer it later. That's our promise. And we have volunteers, about 200 now, but we're looking to triple that number across the east end of Long Island. And yeah.
Triple.
We want to at least triple that number, because the more people that we have, the easier it is for those who are involved. So even if folks that are living in Sag Harbor feel like they don't really want to go past Sag Harbor, maybe Bridgehampton, that's okay. We do what we can do. No one should be doing more than they can do, because you're not going to do it well and you're going to get sick. So the more that we have these numbers, the more able that we are to answer these raids that are happening. And I do want to speak about what we do when we, not a lot, but because if you're interested, I can tell you more later. But it's really important that we're there, and not necessarily in the sense that you're physically stopping an ICE agent, or you're stopping a masked, who knows who they are, or you're getting in front of someone's car. There are many aspects of this documentation that are absolutely necessary for us to show that we do not want this here, but also to help those families who have been impacted. That little boy, we are working with that family now. Our rapid responders were there in Riverhead. Not everyone knows to either reach out, not everyone understands that everything we do is free. Any chance that we have through this rapid response system to be able to make sure that a person impacted immediately, we can work with that family to at least get them whatever other information, or take that case on entirely. So, and then lastly, the only thing I wanted to talk about was just policy, the work that we do, and mostly me, but that's an area that I love to have support in from community, in terms of what are the policies that are right now impactful to our community members who don't have to live in the degree of fear that they're living in. It doesn't mean that that will stop ICE or stop this president, but some of the policies that we have in place right now are not set up to create a machinery of accountability. Because if we had a strong enough machinery of accountability with all of us and everyone involved in that, that would slow down some of these processes. It wouldn't be so easy to have masked people bring their cars and then set out to snatch people off the streets. Our systems have to lean into that, and we're not doing that yet. We are doing the best that we can, but that's a numbers game also. And then the very last thing is our cultural offerings. They're critically important. We don't go into this with our nose to the grindstone and never look up. We have to look up at the beauty that we have around us, the music, theater, dance, and everything that we can to kind of show and get to feel ourselves, the beauty that we have and the beauty that we share together. Otherwise, there is nothing that we should be fighting for, nothing that we should be caring so much about not to lose. So our cultural offerings and what we do there, 23 years of a Latino film festival, theater, dance, music, art show recently. So those are some of the areas.
Those are a lot of areas. Okay, so I had so many questions. There's no way we're going to get to all of them, but I do want to ask one more and shift focus a little bit to be a little bit more personal. Okay. Because we are calling this what we hope is an inaugural conversation about faith in action. I know that this work can be overwhelming and disheartening, but also there is beauty and there is joy. One of the ways that I came to Unitarian Universalism was as an organizer, needing something more to sustain me in the difficulty and the challenge of that work. Can you talk about what sustains you? Is there a faith or a something? What sustains you in this work?
Well, I'll share a couple of words on that, and then I do want to share something else. But I think what it really is the hope that I have, and my love for this community, which I actually finally found as community. I think I'd been searching for that for a long time. I grew up in Miami, went to school in New York City, and I'm part of a theater community, which is beautiful, but I couldn't feel something else. And when I came out to the East End, I did feel that. And so I guard that. I desperately believe in that. And that my faith is knowing that people are inherently good and that we all need pretty much the same things to be respected, to kindness, safety, to be truly seen and heard, and also to acknowledge how difficult that is to achieve or to do, and also how worthwhile it is to do even when these struggles seem futile. The act of trying to be there, to be able to see people and hear them, is everything in the world. And I pray every night to the universe. I was not raised with any particular religion, but I pray to the universe, Mother Nature, God, Pachamama, since I've been to Peru. And maybe they're all the same thing, or maybe they're nothing at all. But I feel the need to name the beauty and the good fortune that I have in my life, and even the hardships that shape my deeper understanding. I fail often, but I am hoping that I'm failing up most of the time. And as a part of my beliefs, I mean, I believe that if I get to be a tree, or like partially a tree, and whatever regeneration happens with my atoms, I'll be perfectly happy with that. I did want to share this poem of a poet. I'm not going to pronounce this the right way. I've been pronouncing it this way forever, but I'm sure it's wrong. But Václav Havel, and playwright, dissident, prisoner for many years, president. And it's a roundabout quote. I think it's an approximation, but hope. Either we have hope within us or we do not. It is a dimension of the soul, and it is not essentially dependent on some particular observation of the world. Hope is an orientation of the spirit, an orientation of the heart. It transcends the world that is immediately experienced and is anchored somewhere beyond its horizons. Hope, in this deep and powerful sense, is not the same as joy that things are going well, or willingness to invest in enterprises that are obviously headed for early success, but rather an ability to work for something because it is good, not because it stands a chance to succeed. Hope is definitely not the same thing as optimism. It is not a conviction that something will turn out well, but certainty that something makes sense regardless of how it turns out.
Thank you so much. Oh, we have to give these back.
Thank you. And it is especially appropriate that Adelaide's song is entitled Hope. I want to let you know that today we will be sharing the plate with Ola, and I will be passing around 2 separate baskets, but they both will go to the same place. We'll be sharing with the organization, and I ask that you please give as generously as is comfortable. Please also feel yourself warmly invited to stay for reception afterwards, and to know that you can ask any questions or request further information about the Unitarian Fellowship, where we welcome all, as well as Ola of Eastern Long Island, which also is tripling their number of volunteers. Thank you.
Let me just say, I was going to sing a song in Spanish. I thought that might be appropriate. But all I know in Spanish are love songs. And it didn't feel exactly right for this moment. And so I chose this. I come to sing a song about hope. I'm not inspired much right now, but even so, I came out here to sing a song, so here I go. I guess I think that if I tinker long enough, one might appear. And look, it's here. One verse is done, the work's begun. I come to sing a song about hope. In spite of everything ridiculous and sad, though I'm beyond belief depressed, confused, and mad. Well, I got dressed. I underestimated how much that would take. I didn't break until right now. I sing of hope and don't know how. So maybe I can substitute strength, because I'm strong. I'm strong enough. I got through lots of things I didn't think I could. And so did you. I know that's true. And so we sing a song about hope. Though I can't guarantee there's something real behind it, I have to try to show my daughter I can find it. And so today, when life is crazy and impossible to bear, it must be there. Fear never wins. That's what I hope. See, I said hope. The work begins.
What a morning. Such beautiful music and inspiring message. A benediction is simply a good word. And so, what good word can I leave you with this morning? What good word can I leave you with this morning when empire surges across the globe, and make no mistake, surges here at home? May we pray and hope and work, knowing, trusting that we are powerful and we are not alone. May it be so. There is a year ahead of us, and we have each other. Amen. Let's extinguish our chalice with the unison words in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of wisdom, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.